So, how's the event for you? How do you feel the atmosphere is here today? Let's start with that.
Thanks for having me, first of all, and we are very, very excited also to have you in the Innovation Summit. Innovation Summit is something we've launched a couple of years ago at Schneider Electric, and it has evolved over time. Basically, what we learned, and we'll talk, I'm sure, about energy transition, climate transition, what we learn is that it takes a full ecosystem, to make the world become net zero one day. And what we try to achieve in this kind of event is to invite all our customers, but also all our partners, all the people that can contribute to this entire ecosystem. And we are very excited because, as you know, today we have already more than 2,000 people who came. It will be the same again tomorrow. And what we want to try to do through this forum is to create an event where the people understand what it takes for the world to become net zero. It's about supply, how you have access to more renewable, but it's also how you work on the demand side, how you help people to save energy, how you create a full ecosystem which is more circular, how you electrify your process. So we are very, very excited to have this event to help our customer and partner to understand and to learn from each other. That's the most important.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You talked about net zero. Many companies have announced net zero commitments and sustainability goals, but we know that the progress made is a little debatable, and we have a time limit on this. So how do you view the current situation, and what key aspects do companies have to focus on in order to achieve this commitment, do you think?
It's a very interesting question, and we can always look at the bottle half empty or half full. But since the Paris Agreement 2015, we've made tremendous progress. I don't know if you're aware, but as of last month, 9,000 companies in the world have committed to be net zero. And they have committed, and their target have been approved by the Science-Based Target, by what we call SBTi. So which means that in the world, you have already 9,000 companies who have committed, who have put a target for themselves by 2050, but also by 2030, because they need to start to show a reverse in terms of trend. And that's a huge impact on the way we are tackling the topic of sustainability. So I agree with you, we can always be challenging and say, are we progressing fast enough? But those 9,000 companies are working actively on their strategy, on their roadmap. And what does it mean at the end of the day? You tackle your scope 1 and 2 emissions, which are your direct and indirect emissions as a company. But very quickly you realize that 90% of your CO2 emissions are related to your scope 3, your supplier. So what does it mean we are here in Turkey? You might have some companies who have committed here. Most of the companies have probably not committed to become net zero, but I'm sure all of them, they are suppliers of companies in different parts of the world where they have to demonstrate how they will help basically their customer to become net zero. So I agree with you when you say it might not be as fast as we would like, because if we want to be back to 1.5 degree trajectory, we have to go much faster. But when you look at the acceleration in the past 2 years, it's tremendous. It's tremendous.
So let's talk about a little about the global period we're going through right now. There's a lot of significant change and transformation in the world. How do you assess the impact of topics like sustainability and technology and innovation during this process?
As I was saying before, 50% of the solution to achieve our sustainability goals collectively as a planet is related to the supply. Okay, how you have access to more renewable, you make energy greener. 50% is on the demand, so saving energy, electrification of the process. There are two ways to build a world which is more sustainable. One is to make sure people have access to electricity, because electricity is the greenest source of energy. And the second key pillar is digital, because the only way to make it happen is to automate and to have access to data. Take your home, for instance. Today you don't know how much energy you consume in your home. In the world of today, where your home maybe will help you to charge, for instance, EV battery for your car, where you maybe one day you will have solar panels, so your home will become a control center, and you need in your home to have access to those data, and those data will help you to monitor, to automate, and better save energy. So digital is very, very important, and of course, the next question will be AI. AI will be a big amplifier of all of that. So a world which is more electric is already part of the solution, but the combination of electric and digital is what gives us the confidence that we can really catch up and make those energy goals, sustainability goals, being achievable by 2050.
Shall we talk about electricity 4.0, I guess? Yes. So What's in the core of this technology, this approach?
You know, in Electricity 4.0, we explain to our customer and partner what does it take to achieve those climate and energy goals by 2050. So we don't stay at the very level. Of course, we have our scenario. You know, back to 2050 scenario is where we explain to our customer 50% from the supply, 50% from the demand, and we explain in a granular way what does it take to be back to our sustainability goals by 2050. But Electricity 4.0 go to the next level, which is what are the technology you need to utilize in home, in building, in data center, industry, infrastructure, because it's very, very different. The way you consume energy and the way you emit CO2 is very different by segment. So Electricity 4.0 is a combination of all the technology which are available to help you to build your strategy, to help you to have access to your data, and to help you to build a roadmap which is practical. We call that strategize, digitize, decarbonize, and we apply it to the different segments to make it more practical and more relevant for the different industries.
My last question is, how does this transformation journey serve as an example for other companies?
Well, look, I don't think you can escape this massive trend, because if you look at the topic of sustainability, CO2 emission, 80% is about energy. So whether you look at the long term and the need to achieve collectively our climate goals, or the short term, and when you see the crisis of energy, the volatility of price, the access to energy that you had in the short term, whether you look at the short term or long term, both are converging. And there is a very, very strong case today for change and to accelerate in the way we consume energy. And we are at Schneider Electric at this really turning point, where we believe that if we help our customer to have access to those technology to manage electricity, but also digital, you can have a huge acceleration in all the industry. So that's a very, very important time, but the time is now. We don't have another 10 years to accelerate, you know. And we always say, if you don't do it for the planet, do it for your wallet, because saving energy is also good for your company at the end of the day.
Yes. We were talking about this today, all throughout the day. It's time for action. And Schneider Electric helps companies and people do that.
Absolutely, and that's why we organize summit like the Innovation Summit, because we believe it's important for people to come one day, to come 2 days, to learn from each other, to understand the stakes. And again, Turkey is not isolated from the rest of the world. It's very important. Turkey has a lot of industrial company, have a lot of company who are also supplying customers everywhere in the world. So we don't believe Turkey is isolated from the world. Turkey is part of the ecosystem, and that's why we strongly believe that Turkey has to embrace, if you want, all those transformations, and we want to be an active contributor by helping the Turkish companies, for sure.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, again, we are very excited by the energy, you know. That's very, very important, and we know we are in an economic cycle which is not always an easy one, you know, in this country, but we are very excited by the level of energy, the level of passion, the level of commitment, you know, from all the people there, and you can testimony by yourself, you know, just seeing so many people coming today, it means there is definitely a very strong interest on the sustainability topic.
I think the same way. Thank you.
Thank you very much.